Meanwhile, to Saturday, Manchester City looking a bit better, weren't they? 3-1 victory against Chelsea. For Chelsea, their horrible run continues. You take a look at how things stand and look in the Premier League. Somehow Chelsea as title challengers, the fools. Look, they're down to 6th now, 13 points off Liverpool sitting at the top. A lot of questions, obviously, about Chelsea's goalkeeper. Here's Enzo Maresca.
We trust Robert for sure, but in the same moment, as I said, the first one that is completely aware that is making mistake in this moment is Robert. So for sure we continue to trust Robert. We trust Robert, but now we are one entire week and we see the reaction, and then we decide for the next game.
Shaka, you're a goalkeeper. Is Robert Sanchez any good?
He's good enough for where I think Chelsea's. Well, I thought they'd finish this season. And to point down, when Chelsea go on this incredible run and people are talking about title contenders and whatnot, I never felt Robert Sanchez was that goalkeeper to get Chelsea or anybody else into the top 2 or top 3 or whatever it may be. But if you ask me in August whether Robert Sanchez was right for Chelsea, I'd have said yes, because of what I expected of Chelsea. Because Chelsea has so many other problems other than the goalkeeper.
Well, they sent Jordi Petrovic out on loan to Strasbourg in France. And there's a report today that he is still Chelsea's player, but there's a host of other top European clubs looking to take him. Now, when he was playing for Chelsea, and he came in from MLS, obviously, when he was playing for Chelsea, when he became the #1, I thought he played very well.
I thought he played well. Saying that, my feelings was kind of similar. That Petrovic was good for who Chelsea were.
So here's the question. Is this just a slump for Sanchez, or is this his standard?
This is a standard.
Well, then that's awful. If you're making more errors than any other goalkeeper in the top 5 leagues, then you've got to go, surely.
I agree. If you were talking about a team pushing for top 4...
Surely any team's got a goalkeeper who's making more errors than anybody else, needs to get rid.
No, I think the expectation is different for teams lower down in the table.
No, I don't think so, surely.
Absolutely it is.
No, if you've got a goalkeeper who's giving up these chances every time and making these errors...
Okay, some of the teams down the bottom of the league, it's not because... it's not necessarily because of the goalkeeper.
Not because of the goalkeeper, but then the ask is different. You aren't being expected to pass the ball.
You've got to be like, don't worry about it, don't worry about it.
You aren't being asked to pass the ball out to the back. It's a far more straightforward ask of your goalkeeper. At that point, if you're talking about a top 4 contender, then those mistakes become a lot more prominent. You're under a lot more pressure. You're being asked to do things that don't necessarily come natural to you. And that's where Robert Sanchez has found himself struggling.
He could see that. And it wasn't a goal kick. It was, Ederson had it almost in the middle of the box. So he could have stepped up, but it's still a bad decision from the goalkeeper.
He starts off in a bad position.
But what I will say is, and I think a lot of people will not realise or won't remember, he came to Chelsea as a #2, and he left Brighton as a #2. Yeah. He was Brighton's #1, and then he lost his position, I think it was to Jason Steele, for various reasons. When a lot of it was the mistakes and the trying to play out from the back. So he came in as a #2, to be a #2, and now he's found himself as the #1, and I think he's just making I mean, he makes some great saves, right? Some of the saves, in terms of shot stopping, some of the things he does are quite good, but I just feel he's got too many errors in him. He's a liability with the ball at his feet, and I think mentally, when you're making those kind of decisions, the more of them you make, I don't care what Maresca says.
It starts to spiral.
He does not trust this. It's not his only problem at the moment, but he does not trust his goalkeeper.
Mario, you were at that game, weren't you? The City-Chelsea game. Did you shout at Sanchez?
Yeah, I was at the game, you know what I'm saying, because I was working on the game, but what I saw him doing, I mean, you guys already had it. I was like, why are you coming out? That's one. You understand? When I saw him coming forward, I was like, you see your defender there. That's the golden code. You don't even have to be an experienced goalkeeper to understand that. You don't come out when your defender is with your striker and against a striker and he's that close to him. He does not need you. Even if the ball comes from the goalkeeper, you just stay in your area. And then I saw him standing. He always stands on the outside the box because, like Shaka said, he always playing against teams that when they overhit the ball normally. But now you're playing against a side that can hit the ball perfectly. And the way, Haaland kind of like let it, like it touched him, and then he knew where it was going, so he knew it was going to be a race. And with his strength and pace, he knew that he was capable to do the one-on-one against Chalaba. And then your goalkeeper did that. But one of the key things that Sanchez does a lot, and I see that every game he does that. Every time he has the ball at the back, he puts a lot of pressure on himself because he waits too long. And every time he plays a ball to a player, it's either every game or it gets intercepted, like someone else comes between it, or he waits so long and then eventually he kicks it away. It's almost like everybody in the stadium is like, oh. Me as a defender, I don't want a goalkeeper to put pressure on me while the ball is at him. I want him to make quicker decisions. If you know you cannot play the ball short, look to play it to your goalkeeper, just like City did. They played it to the chest of Haaland. And that's when we build if we have a problem. And he doesn't do that. He waits too long. He gets under pressure.
It was much easier back in the day, fella.
Just
wasn't it? When that back four was camped in the edge of the box and you weren't even allowed outside the penalty box.
Absolutely.
Life was so much
Marriott, what I thought was interesting, like, on Friday we gave predictions, and I really thought Chelsea would go there and get something from this game, and obviously they started so well. But what was interesting, I thought, was like the last 20 minutes, when we've seen Manchester City buckle so many times. No matter what the opposition, they would give them chances in the final exchanges of games and normally give them up. There was absolutely nothing from Chelsea that put them under pressure, that made them sweat in those final moments. And I think for me, if I was a Chelsea fan, that would want to be one of the most disappointing aspects of that performance.
Yeah, but it was a key thing, Dan. When they started the game, everybody was asking where De Bruyne was, right? They were all asking, like, hey, where's De Bruyne? Where is he going to play the game? Then he doesn't start the game. He plays, you understand, with Gundogan and Silva. So having that is that City normally plays a pressing game. He knew he was playing against Chelsea with a coach that he knows really well. So they didn't play that high pressing game. And then in the second half, what you just highlighted, they put De Bruyne in. And he is one of the leaders in the pressing game for City. So he pressed the game and they really locked the game up. It was very, very close in the middle. It changed, like Chelsea had no space anymore to open the game up. And that made the advantage and the difficulty for Chelsea to even open up. And then we go back to the attackers as well, you understand? I mean, Sancho plays against Nunes. If I play football and I know I'm going to play against a guy that's a midfielder and a forward, I'm going to look for him every time I have the ball. But Sancho did not do a lot in the first half. And the second, it's like I was waiting for Neto to come on because I thought he was going to, dribble and use his pace. But when you watch the game, no. The wingers of Chelsea, no. Madueke was okay. He was trying, but okay. You understand, Guardiola played a good game, so it wasn't really, there were some moments in it. But Sancho, okay, and then we talk about Jackson didn't do anything. So if your forwards don't do anything, it's not a lot you can look at City like they give away. No, you got to create it to give away.
Of course, the opening goal was thanks to Manchester City's new signing, Khusanov, in his debut, making the mistake.
For him, you just look how young he looks, look how anxious he looks. Yeah. There's no escape in the moment. He knows every camera's on him. This is the prime time game. Oh, yeah. City versus Chelsea. It's your first game you want to do well. By all accounts, I don't think he speaks the language very well, doesn't know the system very well. And now he's out there. And, for some people saying Guardiola shouldn't have played him and so on, but I know why he played him. It's because John Stones isn't fully fit, and he's trying to protect him because John Stones has been in and out. So you think, okay, Khusanov, he's been playing in the French league. He's got a chance to come in. He's got his feet under him already this season. And it was tough to watch, but it almost makes you remember how difficult football can be at times. Because when you're in that flow state, it's the easiest game in the world. But when you're thinking about everything, like you give away a goal, he gets a yellow card, he's giving the ball away. And it got to a point where the City players, some of them, they were protecting him by not giving him the ball. And when your team has to play differently because you're having such a stinker.
We've talked about this at the weekend. You have to be heartless not to feel sorry for him because he's a young kid, and as Nedum said, I bet he doesn't speak the language. He's been in there 3 days. He's playing now with the Gundowans, the Silvas, the Erling Haalands, all these superstars. They're playing against one of the better sides, and he's been thrown in. But I did see some of the senior players not quite putting an arm around them, but encouraging them.
Right.
And that's nice to see. And listen, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. He'll get over this. And as I said at the weekend, City very rarely sign bad players. Very rarely. So this young kid clearly is going to be, they're hoping something special. It's just a bad start for the young
Next,
man.
next few games are going to be telling, though.
Yeah.
Arsenal.
And they're tough games as
Because
well.
you know everybody's going to pick on him.
Right.
Because while everybody's hard breaking for him,
Yeah.
when it's our team, we're trying to get the better of City, and he is right now the soft target.
Mario?
Yeah. No. You guys are right. I was in the stadium, and in the beginning, you understand, the ball comes to him, and you could just hear the stadium getting uncomfortable in the beginning. You understand, like when he made that fall. And then, but you know what was the nicest? Just what Craig said. You know what I really, really liked from City? Silva. Unbelievable, guys. We have to. What he did was exceptional. Every time that kid could get the ball, he was either next to him or would ask for the ball and making sure he did not give him the ball for at least 10 minutes. He let him really, ease down. And when I watched it, I was like, oh my God, this is how football should be. The most experienced player should take so much risk, because he clearly did. He started playing sometimes as center half or right back, just to help him out, to ease everything in the guy's head. And then you saw him like slowly building up, and then the crowd started to clap for him when he was passing the ball simple, because in the beginning they were like, oh, he's not even keeping the ball in the team. So moments like that as a young boy, you understand, and the way he plays, because the way he played in France, he was tough tackler, really hard, and really, it doesn't matter what situation he got in. And now you come to a team that clearly holds the ball in the team, so you have to make sure that you give good passes. But Silva did a great job, guys. If you could see that, wow, was impressive.
Just something
I
different.
thought it was
Yeah, just something different on it, Nedum. A little bit of spark that City have been lacking.
Yeah, you could say that. And I think for somebody as well that can play alongside Haaland, but to a certain extent, maybe Haaland can maybe have a break every now and again and can go with him. In some ways, it almost feels like not a Julian Alvarez replacement as such, but something that is similar to that, to give them a different sort of look. Because we've seen, say, City's wingers, you've seen Doku, seen Savinho, seen these guys who can be direct in their way. But with Marmoush, all of a sudden it looks a bit different, feels a bit different. And as Mario was saying, like, he's super direct. This guy is desperate to score goals, and that injection of energy, it could maybe take a team up the field. It could be finding a way to score a goal in like a key moment for the club. So I like the signing, and it's exciting. And the fans, I think they get the feeling that they're gonna absolutely love him. And yeah, from the way he started against Chelsea, obviously compare it to like Khusanov. Before you know it, you can see Marmoush having a big impact almost straight away.
I think when Haaland starts dropping a little deeper, as he sometimes does, they've needed somebody to make that run from the left side or the right, but to make that run into that space.
Right. Which you saw Foden do for the third goal. That kind of...
Yeah, but Marmoush can do it better than Foden because he's quicker than Foden.